Howdy folks, Greyhawk 4x4 coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer. And it is time for me to show off my latest additions to my RPG gaming collection. So, let's hit it. Okay, so for this video, we're going to be talking about my latest additions my latest purchases and additions to my gaming collection. I know that you guys like it when the feedback that I've gotten has been good when I have shown parts of my collection and talked about the history of them and that type of thing. So I thought that I'd make this quick little video because I have made a couple of recent additions to my collection, and I wanted to start out with this one today. This is one of the little same size pamphlets as what they call the OG D&D booklets. Same size, also same size as the original Arduin trilogy, which I also have. So they're all the same pamphlets. They're actually almost in the same type of cardstock and everything. But this particular one is called as you can read there, the Phantasmagorical Monty Hall Dungeon. Now, what's interesting about this is, quick little history lesson for those young folks out there. Monty Hall was a game show host way back, like I think in the 60s, because I kind of have a vague memory of him, myself, but I'm pretty sure a lot of it was before my time, and he had game shows and that type of thing, and he was known as the guy that gave away a lot of shit. He gave away cars or whatever, and so the term Monty Hall Dungeon, when it relates to RPGs, means that you have a dungeon master, DM, or a game master or whatever, that has a propensity to reward his or her players with a lot of stuff, more than the average, haul, let's say, from a particular dungeon, making player characters very wealthy early on in their campaign, and then they can go and they can buy ridiculous weapons and magic items and things like that, like having a third level character with a +5 Holy Avenger sword, which is like what, a 50,000 gold piece item or something like that. I mean, just and that's where the term, when people say Monty Hall, oh, you're a Monty Hall DM, meaning that they over and above reward their players for whatever reason with a lot of stuff. And so this item, the Monty Hall Dungeon, the Phantasmagorical, whatever, is kind of a spoof on that concept. And I will quickly read the back of it, which will give you some insight into, some more insight to what I'm talking about. It says, what do you mean a traffic ticket? Welcome to the flakiest dungeon in the world, the Pyramid of Palapot, the Peripathetic. Here, the intrepid party of adventurers will find incredibly confusing conundrums, intensely silly situations, indubitably terrorical treasures, inpredictably morose monsters, and irreverently, these are all bullshit words, funny fantasy. Any party that manages to emerge from the dungeon with more than a bare fragment of their collective sanity remaining didn't take up the challenge of the adventure in the first place. This is truly one of the worst pieces of nonsense ever propounded as a dungeon adventure, but it is also one of the most amusing tricks that a GM can pull on his players. Comic relief for all, but don't say we didn't warn you. So it's just a ridiculous spoof of a dungeon, Anyway, this was produced in 1982 by Game Lords, and they went so far as to the name on here does not say Game Lords. It says No Shame Lords. I don't know if you can see that. It says, instead of Game Lords, they put, let's see here. There we go. I got too much glare going on it for you guys to see that probably, but let's see here if you guys can see if we can figure out a way to, there you go. Let's try and get my hand there where you go. There we go. No Shame Lords United, it looks like, instead of Game Lords. So that should give you an idea of what's inside there. You can find these. This I got a really good deal. I found it online. Guy was selling. He had a bunch of mint ones. This is mint, and he had a bunch of them on there, and he sold them. I think it was $18 a piece. But you can't find them now, from what I can see, for under $50 in decent condition. So I got a really good deal on that. Anyway, so that was one of my recent additions. Whether or not I will ever put my players through that, I have no idea. I need to read through it and see just how ridiculous it is. But it was one of those things. I'm a collector, so I had to have it, you know. Then the other thing that I got, and I ordered this from a website called CD Baby, and I guess they sell CDs for independent artists. In any case, this one is called BG1 Bards of Greyhawk. Yes, that is correct. These guys they are musicians, and they have basically, and apparently they are fans of the world of Greyhawk, because they have made an entire CD as bards in the world of Greyhawk. All the songs on the back that are listed are all, let's see if that'll come out for you guys here. See if sometimes if I do this, that'll help with the focus. Maybe not. Would love for this to focus for you guys so you guys could read it, but I don't know. Come on, camera, help me out. Help a guy out here. There we go. So there you go. And what's awesome about this is I can't play any for you, of course, because of the YouTube copyright thing. But this is perfect for if you're playing a campaign, or you're DMing a campaign, and your characters walk into a dungeon. Oh, I still got this thing on the brain. You walk into a tavern, and you could instantly have your laptop, and if you have one of these little wireless speakers here, like I use, you could just click a song, and as they walk into the tavern, you could say, oh, you wouldn't even have to say anything. They could just hear the songs, a song or whatever, and it will sound just like as if there were bards playing in a tavern, because that's exactly how these guys sound. So I've listened to most of it. It's fantastic. I don't really want to give away too much, because my players are probably going to experience this, and I don't want to talk too much about it because I could tie it all in and everything. So they've already planned a BG2, the follow-up to this, the next album, and it was only like $10 at CD Baby. So I had to have it. You could also get it digitally. You don't have to order the CD, but I wanted this cool packaging, and then that's the inside there that you can see there. Let's see if we can get that to focus for you guys here. Let's see here. See if we can. And I already showed the back, so I was pretty pleased about that. Because as you guys know, I like to do a lot of atmospheric immersion in my games with whatever I can, whether it's sound or sense or whatever. And in addition to that, I use a lot of battle bards. I've done videos about them before. They had a Kickstarter like a year ago, and it's basically all different types of sound effects and voiceovers and music and everything else specifically for gameplay. And I'll put a link, below. Well, I don't need to put a link. It's battlebards.com. You guys can remember that. Anyway, I have recently gone back on, and I had a bunch of tracks that were included with my Kickstarter contribution that you get all these tracks included. But there was some stuff that I wanted that I couldn't find, and I recently went back and I kind of retooled my search skills and tried some different terms and stuff to search, because they got like 1,200 tracks, 1,200 different tracks on their store, and I was able to find what I was looking for, and so I purchased some more credits. You buy credits, and then each song is a certain amount of credits, or whatever, or an album is a certain amount of credits, etc. And if you spend a certain amount, I spent $25, and then you get access to the mixer. They have a mixer built in on their software and a soundboard, and it unlocked both of those, so now I can use those. But I found a bunch more tracks that I'm going to use now for atmospheric stuff for my campaign and everything. And I can't stress enough the quality of BattleBard's stuff that they have done. Somehow they have got voice actors and musicians and Foley artists. And if you don't know what a Foley artist is, Foley artists are the people they have things called a Foley stage. And I know this from when I worked at Universal Studios. They had a Foley stage there where you walk in, and it's literally a room that looks like it belongs to a hoarder, because there's just a room of shit. Just every kind of object and thing that you could imagine, and surface that you could imagine, is represented in the room. And the reason is they have to figure out ways to portray sounds, to convey sounds that are on the screen using everyday objects. So they'll have like a block of wood and all these different, like an egg beater and a frickin' hatchet and and whatever, tire iron, whatever, and they have to bang on certain things and until they get the right sound that matches up with what's on the screen. And these guys are called Foley artists, and they literally get paid to play around with all these objects and stuff until they come up with the right sounds that match whatever's on screen. Like, there was one scene I remember specifically where somebody was hitting the saddle of on a horse with something, and they had to replicate that sound, what that would sound like, instead of them it picking up the sound naturally on camera. They wanted it to, the director wanted it to sound a certain way or whatever, and they had to come out, and they ended up taking like a head of lettuce and smacking it against a piece of leather or something, and that was the sound that he wanted. It came out and it was perfect. That's Foley stuff. Anyway, so BattleBards must employ Foley artists and voiceover artists and musicians and everybody and score people that do music scores and stuff like that, because they've got everything on there. So anyway, those are my new additions to the collection. In addition to, so you got between Bards of Greyhawk and BattleBards, there's not another, I can't imagine anything auditory that I could want for my gaming my campaign that I can't get between the two of those two things. So anyway, that's it, guys. Maybe the next video will be a beer 30. It's about time for a beer 30. So that's it, guys. We'll catch you on the flip side.